Hey, this is Gina with Hope and Cope again. I just wanted to talk to you about assigning intent. So many times when we get hurt by someone else's behaviors, by someone else's action or inaction or their words, what really hurts us the most is what we assign as the intent. So they intended to do us harm. They intended to insult me. They intended to belittle me. They intended to criticize my children. I'm not saying no one ever has negative intent, but I am saying that we can try to assign an innocent intent. If it's someone that we know loves us, or if it's someone we know that doesn't have it out against us, then if we could just assign an innocent intent. Yes, they did or said this thing. Yes, it was hurtful, but I am going to presume there was no ill intent, and so it helps to take the sting out of it. When I was in Al-Anon, I was very easily offended, very easily wounded by a lot of things that people would say or do. And I had been my whole life. This wasn't necessarily related to my husband's addiction. I've always had very sensitive feelings. And so it comes up in Al-Anon, minding your own business, taking responsibility for yourself, taking responsibility for your own feelings, and so being offended, came up multiple times. And I decided, and it's easier said than done, but listen to this declaration I made, that I was not going to be offended unless someone prefaced what they said or did with, "Gina, this is for offense. I'm doing this to offend you. I'm doing this deliberately to hurt your feelings. Otherwise, I was not going to take offense. No matter what their actions, no matter what they did or said, I was not going to assign a hurtful intent." And so it did help me to not be as offended. And I could make excuses in my mind for someone else's behavior that was hurtful. And what I discovered is a lot of times if I could take the sting out of it, I could look at it more unbiasedly. I could look at it more clearly, with less feelings attached, so that I could reckon it for what it was. And another reason that I did it, and that was very helpful to me, was that it hurt me less. I did it as much for myself as anything, so that it didn't hurt me as much. Maybe it didn't hurt me at all. If I didn't assign ill intent, they meant to hurt me. They didn't care. They knew that would make me sad, and they didn't care. Well, if I didn't assign that intent, and I gave them the benefit of the doubt, then I'm showing mercy, and I am not nearly as hurt. Yes, it happened. Yes, maybe my feelings were hurt. Yes, maybe I felt overlooked. Yes, maybe I had an expectation that wasn't met, but I don't have to carry the wound of that person intentionally doing it to me. So I just want to suggest that you try to have the standard of, unless they walk up and say, "This is to hurt your feelings. I'm saying this," listen closely, because I'm saying this to deliberately hurt your feelings. If they don't do that, if they don't say, "I'm deliberately intending to insult you," then try to just not be insulted. Just try it. Just try it. It worked for me. See if it works for you. And if it does, if it lightens your load a little, if it's less you have to carry, less you have to bear, then isn't that best? Isn't it best to give people the benefit of the doubt, and to lighten your own burden? My mama used to say, let's see if I can remember, where love is thick, faults are thin. Where love is thin, faults are thick. So if you really love somebody, you're not going to see those negative intentions. And if you are finding fault a lot, maybe you could ask yourself, maybe I'm being the nitpicker. Maybe I'm being the one with thin love, and maybe I need to try harder to have a more pure, wholehearted, devoted love for this person. So if this was helpful to you, if you're like, I'm going to do better about that today. I'm not going to be so easily offended. I'm not going to assign someone's intent to their actions. I'm just going to presume goodwill. Presume goodwill. Why not presume goodwill? Do you do things? I was about to sign off, but let me just ask you, do you do things intentionally to hurt people? Because if you do, then maybe you're right. Maybe people do really do things intentionally to hurt people. But I will promise you, I don't ever do things intentionally to hurt people. I stick my foot in my mouth. I hurt people's feelings. I do the wrong thing and I say the wrong thing sometimes. And if I know about it or I figure it out on my own, I can apologize. But I don't hurt people's feelings on purpose. And so it is never with intent on my part. So I can say genuinely, if it's never with intent on my part, then maybe it's never with intent on their part either. And we're just humans and we're just making mistakes and we just bump into each other a little too hard sometimes and hurt their feelings. And so we don't have to assign ill intent to our loved ones and to people that have the power to hurt us, which is usually the people that we love or like a lot. We like them a lot, so they can hurt our feelings. They're associates at work or they're neighbors, and we like them, and so they have the power to maybe insult us or hurt our feelings. But if we don't assign intent, it just doesn't hurt as much. I am just telling you, it doesn't. If we say, "Ooh, I wonder if she's having a hard time at home because that was kind of harsh that she just said," or "I wonder if they're not feeling well because usually she doesn't come off so unloving," or something. Just assign something besides some mean intent. See if that doesn't help you today. I hope it does. I hope it brings some sunshine into your life, lightens your load a little bit. If it does, if you would just hit the thumbs up button. If you have a comment, I'd love for you to leave it in the comments below. And if you think this would help somebody else, if you would share it, I'd really appreciate it. And just know I love you and I'm praying for you, and I hope this channel is a blessing to you. And until next time, bye-bye.